All right, today we're going to follow the money. And not just any money, we're talking about your money. We're going to peel back the layers of the banking system to figure out the pretty surprising journey your dollar takes the second it leaves your wallet.
You know, when you deposit your hard-earned cash into a bank, it's pretty easy to picture it all neatly stacked up in some giant steel vaults, just waiting for you. It feels safe, secure, like it's not going anywhere. But what if I told you that vault is, well, mostly for show? That your dollar, far from taking a nap, is actually out there on this wild adventure that you know almost nothing about. The real story of what your money is doing is so much more dynamic and honestly, way more interesting than you think.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and shatter that image of the quiet, sleepy vault right now. The moment your money hits the bank's system, it is officially on the clock. And this quote right here, it pretty much says it all. See, a bank isn't a storage unit. It's a business. And the product it uses to make money is your money. Your deposit isn't just something to be guarded, it's capital that they need to deploy, like immediately. So if they're not holding on to all of it, then how much do they actually have to keep around? Well, this brings us to the absolute core of how modern banking works, something we could call the 10% secret. The thing is, by law, banks don't have to keep all of their depositors' money in reserve. Nope. They only need to hold on to a tiny piece of it. This is called the reserve requirement, and it is the key that unlocks this entire system. And that fraction, it's often just 10%. Yeah, you heard that right. Now, it's important to note this number can change. Regulators use it as a lever to manage the economy. But for our purposes, 10% is the magic number. For every dollar you deposit, the bank only needs to keep a dime. The rest of it, it's already out the door. Let's break it down. Say you deposit $100. The bank, following the rules, sets aside $10 as its reserve. It then takes your other $90 and loans it out to somebody else, maybe to buy a car or start a business. This is that first crucial step in turning your savings into fuel for the economy. So there's a name for this whole system. It's called fractional reserve banking, and it is the engine of the entire financial world, built on one single massive promise that we won't all ask for our money back at the same time. Okay, but this is where it gets really wild. That loan doesn't just stop. It actually kicks off a process that, in effect, creates brand new money throughout the economy. I mean, think about it. The person who borrowed that $90, they use it to buy something, right? Let's say some new tools for their workshop. The person who sold the tools now has that $90. And what do they do with it? They go deposit it into their bank account. And boom, the cycle starts all over again. That second bank sees a fresh deposit of $90. It holds on to its 10%, that's $9, and then it loans out the remaining $81. And that $81 gets spent and deposited, creating another loan, and on and on and on it goes. This is what's known as the money multiplier effect. So let's just pause for a second and appreciate what just happened. Your original $100 is still sitting in your account, on paper at least, but that $90 loan now also exists as a new deposit in someone else's account. Just like that, your $100 has helped create $190 that's now circulating in the economy. It's not magic, it's just, well, it's banking math. All right, so the system is great for fueling the economy, but what's in it for the bank? How do they actually make money from being the middleman in all this? Well, this brings us to their core business model. It's actually beautifully simple. The bank pays you a tiny bit of interest for letting them use your money, maybe 1% on your savings account. But on the money it loans out, that $90 from our example, it charges the borrower a much, much higher rate of interest, say 7% for that car loan. And the difference between the interest it earns and the interest it pays out, that's called the net interest spread. As you can see here, that spread is the bank's bread and butter. It's their reward for taking on the risk of making that loan in the first place. But speaking of risk, this whole system is really built on a very delicate balance. It works great as long as everybody stays calm, but it has one huge, fundamental vulnerability. This is the absolute nightmare scenario. I mean, if the bank has loaned out 90% of its deposits, it simply does not have the cash on hand to give everyone their money back if they all show up at once. It's physically impossible. This catastrophic event has a name. It's a bank run, and it's really a crisis of confidence. a rumor, a bit of panic, it can start a chain reaction. And because the bank doesn't actually have the money, the fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this is not just a theory. During the Great Depression, this is exactly what went down. Fear just gripped the nation. People literally ran to the banks to pull their money out, and thousands of banks, which couldn't possibly meet the demand, just collapsed. It was out of that chaos that a crucial safety net was finally built. Enter the FDIC. This government agency insures your deposits, right now up to $250,000. And this guarantee is designed to stop a bank run before it can even get started. I mean, why would you panic if you know no matter what happens to the bank, your money is safe? It's as much a psychological backstop as it is a financial one. But even with safeguards like the FDIC, the system is not invincible. The 2008 financial crisis was a pretty brutal reminder that when the loans banks are making are super risky and all interconnected, that whole tightrope can start to wobble and threaten the entire global economy. So we've seen that your dollar isn't just sleeping in a vault. It's really the seed from which loans and investments and ultimately new money actually grows. And that leaves us with a final, much bigger question to chew on. If the very engine of our economy is a system that relies on one person's deposit becoming another person's loan, what does that really say about our society's fundamental relationship with debt?